My name is Leo. Just Leo. People always want to know, Leo what? Like a last name is some kind of map that'll show them where I belong. I've never really belonged anywhere. Not with family, not in any job I tried to hold. Even my own vision gave up on me. So it's just Leo. Like a name you hear once and forget. I'm in my mid-40s, I think. The years blur together. It's been 9 years since the army sent me packing. A piece of shrapnel took a detour through my skull and decided to take my eye with it. The one I have now is glass. It looks real if you catch it in the right light, but it has a slow, wandering way about it, like it's always looking for something I'm not. My leg is the real problem. An IED blew my boot clean off and left me with a permanent limp and a ringing in my ears that never quite goes away. I remember the dust and the taste of blood, thinking, well, this is the end of the line. But it wasn't. It never is for some of us. I came home, a lot of the guys in my unit didn't. War teaches you how to lose people, but it makes you terrible at holding on to them. I tried to be normal when I got back, but there's no normal to return to. The world keeps spinning while you're gone. The silence in your own house is deafening. A crowded supermarket feels like a combat zone. Every job interview hits the same wall when they see U.S. Army and medical discharge on your file. The polite smile, the "we'll be in touch." They never are. I did some construction, but my knee had other ideas. Drove for a meal delivery app, but the long hours on the road gave me migraines behind my glass eye. So I ended up here. A hotel, but not the kind you're thinking of. This place sits out in the basin, a good 50 miles past the last town with a working stoplight. It's surrounded by a whole lot of nothing. Just cracked earth, endless sky, and a silence so deep it starts to hum. It's called the Eternity Hotel. I'm not the one who named it or built it. I just work the front desk. I mop the floors, change the sheets, and fill the guest ledger with made-up names because the real ones don't matter here. It's a strange gig, but it's a steady one. That's more than I've had in a long time. I'm up at dawn every day, limping to the small kitchen in the back to brew the same harsh coffee we buy by the pallet. Then I watch the sun rise, painting the hotel's faded turquoise walls a sickly shade of orange. Most places like this get long-haul truckers or families on road trips. We don't. The guests at the Eternity Hotel are from out of place. You can see it the second they step inside. They blink at the indoor lights like they haven't seen a ceiling in a while. Some are frantic, with wild, darting eyes. Others move slow and heavy, as if they're wading through a dream they can't shake. They're travelers, through time. I know how that sounds. I thought the name was a gimmick when I first got here. The whole place looks like a movie set that was forgotten after filming Wrapped. Faded turquoise paint, strange oil paintings of stern-looking people, and green velvet furniture that looks too nice to ever sit on. It's all very stylish, and all very wrong. But the guests are real. No, they don't have futuristic gadgets or sparking machines. Some carry pocket watches that don't tick. Others just have a look in their eyes, like they're watching a dozen different moments all at once. Time travel isn't a gift. It's a sickness. For one, they don't seem to age right. I met a fellow who looked barely old enough to drink, wearing a threadbare wool coat. He told me he was born in 1848. He'd been running from a posse, stumbled into a cave, and walked out into downtown Chicago in the 1960. He was trying to find his brother, who he hadn't seen in over a century. And then there's the hunger. They are always starving. It's like their bodies are furnaces burning through the years. I saw a slip of a girl, couldn't have weighed more than 100 pounds, put away an entire platter of sandwiches, 4 apples, and a pot of soup. Then she politely asked if the kitchen was still serving. That's why food is a constant here. There's a tray of pastries on the reception desk, always fresh. A truck delivers them every morning from a town I'm pretty sure doesn't exist on any map. Under the counter, I keep a box of protein bars. I've seen travelers grab a handful and be gone before I can even ask for a room number. Our kitchen is the heart of this place, run by a big, quiet man named Gus. He used to be a chef somewhere fancy, I think. He keeps the stoves hot 24/7, and the air always smells of roasting meat, baking bread, or simmering stew. We feed them because they're broken, but don't ever feel jealous of them. They never stay more than a night or two. They can't. If they stay still for too long, something starts to pull at them. I've seen them break down sobbing in the lobby, only to vanish from their room, leaving behind a neatly made bed. They leave behind oddities, a silver coin with an unfamiliar face, a key to a lock that doesn't exist, a single child's booty with a note inside that read, "Forgive me." I used to have a lot of questions. I don't anymore. Rule number 1 is you don't get involved. You serve the food, you offer a clean room, and you don't ask where they're from or where they're going. Sometimes they talk anyway. A young woman, maybe 18, came in barefoot in a dress that looked like it was sewn from old theater curtains. She was trembling. I asked if she needed help. She just looked at me with hollow eyes and whispered, "I think I went the wrong way." What do you say to that? She ate a full breakfast, drank 2 glasses of orange juice, and then walked out the front door into the desert heat, never to be seen again. There's only one person who's been here longer than I have, Mr. Caspian. He's the manager, but he'd never call himself that. He has no office, no name tag, but his authority is absolute. The air changes when he enters a room. The shadows seem to pay attention. The first time I saw him, I assumed he was a guest. He emerged from room 00, a room I didn't know we had, dressed in a perfectly tailored navy velvet suit, complete with a top hat and immaculate white gloves. He looked like he'd stepped out of another century. "May I help you, sir?" I asked. He gave me a slow, knowing smile. I believe I'm already on the payroll. And that was it. No interview, no forms. One day I was running this weird outpost alone. The next, I had a boss who looked like a stage magician. He and I share one thing, a dependency on the god-awful coffee. We're both up before sunrise, sitting in the lobby, drinking pot after pot. "This brew is particularly foul today," I remarked one morning. Mr. Caspian swirled his cup. "It's not the coffee, Leo. It's the pipes. There's something in the water again." "You say that every week." "And every week I am correct," he said. He has a long, unlit "Ever wonder how this place came to be?" I asked him once. I know precisely how. I wouldn't recommend asking. The truth of it offers no comfort. "You'll tell me anyway," I said. He let out a low chuckle. I made a bargain with a particular entity, one foolish enough to accept my terms. "What did you offer?" He smiled. "I can't recall. That's the proof the bargain held." He never talks about himself. When I asked if he had a family, he shook his head. "I am a solitary creature. A wife makes a man hesitant. Children make him weak. I prefer my solitude." I asked if he ever got tired of this place. He looked at me, puzzled. "Tired, yes, but never sleepy." "What's the difference?" He adjusted a glove, pulling it taut over his fingers. "I don't sleep, Leo. I can't." "Insomnia?" "Of a sort. Let's just say that when I close my eyes, I receive a visitor. He doesn't say much. He just sits and watches me, smiling. I find I prefer to have those kinds of meetings when I'm wide awake. I never knew how to respond to that. I still don't. There's something fundamentally off about Mr. Caspian. He's never surprised. A traveler could burst in screaming that the 19th century is missing, and he'd just nod calmly and offer them a pastry. He knows things. I saw him one night, standing in the dark hallway outside room 8. just standing there, hands clasped behind his back. "Everything okay, boss?" I asked. He didn't turn. This was her room. Who? He finally looked at me, his eyes ancient. Someone you would not have known. "We don't get mail, but once a month, a single letter appears on the desk, addressed to Caspian, the Eternity Hotel, sealed with black wax. He never opens it. He just puts it in his pocket." "Aren't you curious?" I asked. "In the slightest. I detest correspondence. If it were truly urgent, they would find another way." The guests, even the most unstable ones, respect him. I've seen him calm a panicked traveler just by placing a gloved hand on their shoulder and saying, "You are safe here, for tonight." He's not a man. He's a part of the hotel's foundation. If this building crumbled to dust, he'd go with it. I asked him if he believed in a higher power. He laughed, a deep, genuine sound. "I believe in contracts, Leo, ancient ones, with very fine print, and the entities who write them are not the sort you'd want to meet." He finished his coffee. "I believe in purpose, and you and I, we have one." "And what's that?" His smile was thin and sharp. "To maintain order in a place that defies it, to offer sanctuary to the lost, and to ensure the lights remain on, even when the rest of the world forgets we're here." He has a way with words, doesn't he? But what he says sticks with you long after the coffee's gone cold. He's not the only strange one, though. You have to be a certain kind of person to work here. Take Agnes. She's our head of housekeeping. 60, maybe 70 years old, with a voice like gravel, and a menthol cigarette permanently attached to her lip. She used to be a nun. Seriously. She says she left the convent after a doctrinal dispute with a seraph in the trunk of a cardinal's Fiat. She claims her old job involved cleaning up after the church's less miraculous incidents. "You think an exorcism is messy," she once told me. "Try cleaning up a hotel room after a saint has a crisis of faith. That's a real mess." She won't go into room 112. Ever. "Left a part of myself in there in 93, she said, stubbing out her cigarette. "Don't intend to go looking for it." Then there's Sam, our night porter. A small man who wears his uniform like a second skin and smells faintly of bleach. He's unnervingly fast. You'll turn to ring the bell for him, and he'll already be standing there. Agnes told me once, "He's a good kid. Just don't ask him when he was born. It's a sore subject." And then there are the ghosts who aren't on the payroll. We have the Weeping Bride. She's always here, but never on the guest list. You'll find her in the laundry room, silently crying over a beautiful wedding gown she keeps in a garment bag. She told me once she was supposed to be married in 1888, but she got delayed. Now she's just trying to find her way back. I asked Mr. Caspian about her. "Regret is a powerful fuel," he said. "It can carry you a long, long way." The guests are a parade of lost souls. A man from the 1920s complaining about the lack of a proper cocktail bar. A woman from some distant future who paid for her room with a single perfect diamond and asked where she could recharge her cellular structure. They all have one thing in common. They're adrift. Like ghosts who forgot they're supposed to be dead. They're just passing through until the current of time snags them again. But my job goes beyond checking them in and out. The real work starts when a room is empty. Time travelers leave things behind. Not wallets or keys. They leave behind fragments of their own time. A compass whose needle spins to a place that isn't north. A book of poems in a language that died 1,000 years ago. A child's toy that hums with a strange energy. I once found a pocket knife in room 12. The handle was made of some warm, smooth wood I'd never seen. I picked it up, and for a second, my glass eye ached. A deep, phantom pain. I put it down fast. That's why Mr. Caspian and I have the storeroom. It's in the basement behind a fake maintenance panel. You need 2 keys to open the iron bar door. His and mine. Inside, it's cold, lined with wooden shelves and glass cases. Every item is tagged in Caspian's elegant script. He calls the danger temporal contamination. The wrong object in the wrong time can cause a kind of sickness. We had a guest find a music box left by a previous occupant. He wound it up. An hour later, he was in the lobby, babbling incoherently, bleeding from his nose and ears. Time, Caspian says, is a jealous master. It doesn't like its pieces being mixed up. So I am the collector. I wear thick leather gloves and sweep the rooms after checkout. I look for the things that feel too heavy for their size, or the things that seem to hum just at the edge of hearing. I bring them down, one by one, to the cold, silent room. Some things we bury in the desert, sealed in lead boxes. I also maintain the wards. Every morning, I walk the perimeter of the hotel and lay down a fresh line of salt, not to keep ghosts out, but to keep the hotel stable. The garlic I hang by the service entrances isn't for vampires. It's for other things. Pests. Which brings me to the thing on the third floor. I call it the tenant. Mr. Caspian has another name for it, one he never says out loud. He told me once he didn't kill it, but he bound it. Made a deal, as he does. He trapped it and brought it with him when he established this place. Gave it a permanent home. So it lives in room 313. The entire third floor is sealed off. The elevator doesn't go there. The stairwell is blocked by an iron gate with 3 heavy padlocks. Only Mr. Caspian has the keys. Room 313 is a cage. The walls are reinforced with steel, the window is barred with pure silver, the air around it smells of ozone and hot metal, like a blacksmith's forge. Caspian says the tenant doesn't hunt with claws, it hunts with memory. It shows you the face of someone you lost, someone you love. It whispers everything you want to hear. I didn't believe it, not at first. During my first month here, I snuck up there while Caspian was out. I just wanted a look. I knelt and peered through the mail slot in the door. And I saw my father. He was sitting on the edge of the bed, wearing the old flannel shirt he always wore on weekends. But he was young, the way he was before I shipped out, before life had beaten him down. He was weeping quietly. He kept saying my name, asking why I never came home, saying he'd waited and waited. I was frozen. My heart was a stone in my chest. Then he looked up, straight at me, and he smiled. But it wasn't my father's smile. It was wide and hungry and utterly wrong. I scrambled back so fast I nearly fell down the stairs. I haven't been back up there since. Caspian checks on it. I see him return from the third floor, his face pale and rigid. He checks the locks, reapplies the salt line at the door. I think it shows him things too. I don't ask. The problem is, sometimes a guest wanders. They get curious. They find a way past the gate. The tenant only needs a moment of weakness, a single crack of doubt. It shows them a lost child, a dead spouse. They open the door. We find the body later, tucked neatly into bed, a peaceful smile on its face. The tenant will wear their skin for a day or two, walking the halls, ordering room service, just long enough to get close to someone else. Caspian always gets it back into the room. I don't know how. The locks are reset. The mess is cleaned up. And we go on. There's a rhythm to this place. I know it in my bones. Wake up, lay the salt, make the coffee, check the wards, feed the hungry ghosts, avoid the third floor. Repeat. This isn't the life I thought I'd have. I thought I'd have a small house, a dog, maybe a neighbor I could have a beer with. But plans follow apart. The world moves on. You find yourself standing still in the middle of nowhere. This hotel isn't safe, but it is steady. That's something. I see myself in these travelers sometimes. We're all just adrift, lost in a time that isn't quite our own. I don't know if Mr. Caspian built this place, or if he's just its warden. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the lights stay on and the doors stay locked, especially room 313. The tenant has been quiet lately, but I know it's there, waiting. I've learned that in this place, curiosity is just another word for a death wish. So I do my job. I mop the floors, I catalog the relics, I brew the bitter coffee and offer a nod to the broken people who pass through. I work here. I keep things in their proper place. That's my purpose now. It's enough. And besides, the coffee is free. If you're ever out in the great empty and you see a faded turquoise hotel shimmering on the horizon, looking like a postcard from a place you can't name, I'd advise you to keep driving.